In the first quarter of 2004, during the normal trading session of the German debt bonds on the Eurex market, a group of 5 junior traders and their manager found something weird. Huge buying orders for the Schatz, the 2-year German bond, were placed on the screen in front of them. No one knew who was the mysterious trader buying all of these contracts. 20 seconds later, more buying orders were placed, but this time with more lot. It seems like there is something big going on. They hurried to check the news to see if anything came out regarding the German economy, but they didn't find anything, and the buying orders were popping on the screen for the third time. It must have been something that didn't reach the news yet. Fearing of missing out on this huge wave, the manager shouted,
"Place your buying orders, now!"
The 5 traders went fast and placed their buying orders slightly above the current market price to guarantee that the selling offers would settle on them before anyone else. But suddenly, the mysterious buying orders were cancelled and were flipped to the opposite side of selling. Before they cancelled their orders, the bids were executed. They have just bought the contracts with above market price, thinking that a big wave was on the rise, but nothing happened. So they decided to immediately liquidate the position and sell the contracts back to the market, only to find out the mysterious buyer appearing once again with a large lot size in the lower bid than before. Before they knew it, they were caught in a trap. They had bought high, thinking they were onto something, only to sell low and lose big time. The junior traders were humiliated at their losses. They couldn't describe what had just happened, but their manager had realized exactly what was happening. He had seen it before, many times.
It was the flipper,
the manager said. For more than a decade, the flipper had roamed all around Europe and had terrorized all of the traders out there. They called him the flipper because of his unique trading style.
It was funny seeing these trades pop from one side to the other.
One trader said, the flipper has had his hands in many different markets all across Europe, but the market that he had stuck to the most was the German debt market. The Germans sold 3 bonds to fund their debt: the bond bonds with 10 years maturity age, the Bobby bonds with 5 years maturity age, and the Schatz bonds with 2 years maturity age. Many believed that the flipper was the greatest futures trader that had ever lived. This mysterious trader, whom no one knew anything about, was trading with a volume reaching over $68 billion per day, to the point that his share of the German bonds market has crossed the 10% mark. The flipper was a myth that circulated in financial markets all over Europe. Some believed the flipper existed, while others doubted his existence. But the only thing we are sure about is that nobody knew exactly who the flipper was. Is it a financial institution, a smart trader, or maybe the secret organization that controls the world? The flipper's identity remained a mystery for over 15 years. 1998. The flipper has ended his trading day at his desk at Daiwa Securities. It was 5 p.m. He had been actively trading since the market had opened its doors at 8 a.m. His trading frequency was higher than any other trader at his firm, and even the entire German bonds market. This trading style he likes to call aggressive scalping.
We couldn't believe our eyes when we saw how quickly he would change the positions from one side of the sheet to the other,
said his manager. His transaction volume was close to 200,000 contracts per day. By this time, the flipper name had stuck with him. Many traders knew the moment he entered the market, but no one seemed to know what his real identity was. He enjoyed it that way. He wanted to keep a low profile, making as little noise as possible. He was a guy in his 20s who didn't want to deal with anything other than trading and investing money. He didn't want to risk losing his money-making secrets to other traders once they found out who he was. He was like a shark swimming in a blue, clear ocean by himself. But if other sharks were to enter this ocean he was swimming in, the blue ocean would turn red, and soon enough, nobody would be able to profit from this opportunity. But he would soon enough leave his current firm to form his own company. This time, he was going to put his money on the line, but the greater the risk, the greater the reward. The entire 2 years he had spent in Daiwa, he didn't have a single losing month. Filled with confidence and a slight ego, he formed the company Greenhouse Capital Management with his former manager Olive Kliniski and 2 accountants. It was a leap of faith, but soon enough, the money printing machine started spitting out banknotes. The company's initial capital was $1.3 million. At the end of the first month, they cleared a profit of $526,000. 2 months later, they made a staggering quarter profits of $6.5 million. Soon enough, they were going on a 24-month streak of nothing but profits, so they decided to raise more private capital and scale the business before reaching an IPO. Life was good, and there were no limits to how far they could go. But this didn't last that long.
.com shot up today.
The question about the high-tech stocks and possible fallout. Real bursts of speculation in the market. It does get corrected eventually.
The banks they were in calls with to fund their ambitious plan were drowning in the troubles that the dot-com bubble had brought. With no further capital raise and partners having different visions about the future, they closed the firm. Using the money he has made over the past 15 years, Paul Rotter moved to Switzerland and later founded his own company, Rotter Invest. Once again, the flipper was back on the debt market, making around $70 million a year in profits. Till now, nobody had found out what his real identity was. The dot-com bubble was a powerful economic crisis that made people almost forget about him for a while, but all of this was about to change. 2004, the Gan Corner event. One of the attendees interrupted the session and asked the host, Juliette Clark, if they knew the real identity of the flipper.
Yes, I know Paul Rotter.
She said in a cold manner.
He is one of my clients, and he is sitting right behind you.
The whole crowd was shocked, as if Queen Elizabeth herself was right there with them. The flipper was a 32-year-old handsome guy named Paul Rotter, dressed in a well-tailored suit with a clean cut. And he wasn't trading out of Ireland, as all of them had believed. He was trading right from the center of Germany. Paul Rotter looked young for all of the buzz that he was causing at the time. Almost all of them have heard about the flipper. You could even bet that half of the traders in that room have seen the flipper trades popping up live on their screen once or twice before. A few days after the Gang Corner event had ended, the whole world knew the real identity of the flipper. It didn't take that long for the locals in Germany to act out. The locals trading in the German bonds markets were the ones receiving the hefty losses, even heavier than financial institutions. You see, a lot of the local traders in Germany were trading with a herd-like mentality. This style was easy and profitable in the good old days of the trading pits. But now, things have changed, and electronic trading has been introduced. Trading with their old mentality in this modern market made them the most vulnerable group to the flip. So when these locals found out about the real identity of the guy who was screwing them over for more than 15 years, they bombarded him with death threats through letters and phone calls. Paul said he used these messages to move forward. In one interview, he said,
"Of course, it was a motivation for me to get more involved in the markets and set more competition for these funny guys."
But from now on, he needed to take safety more seriously for himself and his family. Lucky for him, Rotter had moved to Switzerland 3 years before the incident to found his own company, Rotter Invest. If he was living in Germany at the time, things would have gone out of hand really fast. But Switzerland seemed like a much safer option than Germany. He is now even planning to leave Europe and relocate his company to Singapore, claiming the financial market there is very welcoming to customers. After Rotter moved to Singapore, he continued to trade in different financial markets. His methods were so solid that he was consistently making around $80 million annually for straight 10 years. But another beast was on the rise, a beast that made him revisit his entire trading strategy. This form of trading was starting to become the coolest kid on the block. Day by day, trading algorithms were taking over, like silent ghosts slipping onto the trading floor. These algorithms didn't laugh or cry, didn't feel the thrill of a win or the sting of a loss. They were cold, calculating machines, and they were starting to dominate the market. Every trading company was on the hunt to get the latest and fastest trading algorithm on the market. Profitable trading algorithms were scarce. It is easy to write a program code. However, writing a profitable program code is an extremely difficult job to execute. For Paul, this was a tough blow. His old tricks and strategies were becoming less effective. The market seemed to be slipping away from his grasp, becoming less responsive to his moves. It was like trying to catch a slippery fish with bare hands. Algorithms represented the new herd on the market, but this time they are a dynamic herd. They can adjust the position fast according to market reaction. Paul knew he had to adapt. He couldn't compete with the speed and efficiency of these algorithms, so he decided to change his game plan. Instead of chasing quick profits, he shifted his focus to long-term investing. Till this day, the flipper remains a master of secrecy. He kept his personal details locked away, tighter than a treasure chest. There wasn't a single picture of him to be found online, no trace of his presence on social media, and even his company's website was down. The only evidence that this man has ever lived is the 2 interviews he had done just after the Gang Corner incident.